A midsummer's day in Shakespeare country in the heart of England.
When Gerry travelled down the motorway, he was that person and he was that opportunity.
On a major motorway, two bitter rivals collide.
That rivalry is born out of basic, pure hatred for one another.
An execution-style killing in the fast lane.
For what? His life, this beautiful man's life, was taken for a patch of clothing.
What were the tragic events that led to the murder of a Hells Angel? August the 12th, 2007, and the M40 motorway, the main route between Britain's two largest cities, London and Birmingham, is heavy with traffic.
All of a sudden, red brake lights, anchors on, come to a rather quick and unexpected stop.
With nothing moving, it soon became clear this was no normal traffic jam, and major tailbacks soon began to build up.
People were occupying their time by taking their dogs for walks or taking their toddlers into a field for a pee break. People were chatting, people turned up the radio. A lot of people were just kicking back, reclining in their seats and just relaxing. And then there was a small group of us that were just keeping an eye out and an ear out for what was going on ahead.
We're just driving south on the M40 motorway. We're just coming up to the Warwick service station. There's a motorcyclist laying flat out in the middle of the fast lane. Somebody needs to get here pretty bloody quickly.
This was the first the police knew that a man had been shot on the motorway.
We realised that there was likely to have been a fatality when the radio report said that there'd been a death due to a car accident. And then also the amount of emergency vehicles going down the hard shoulder, one of which was a doctor's car.
When police arrived minutes later, they found a biker dead on the road. This was no road traffic accident, though. Obvious bullet wounds revealed it was an assassination.
The body found lying here on the fast lane of the M40 was that of a Hells Angel, Gerry Tobin. But why was he killed, and why such a public execution on a road packed with families and holidaymakers? With unprecedented access to the police investigation and to the family of Gerry Tobin, we've pieced together the crucial events leading up to the murder, the death of an angel.
The murder of a Hells Angel put a huge pressure on the police to solve the case quickly. With so many aggrieved fellow angels, they had to show they could be trusted to bring the killer to justice.
The only people who really witnessed the shooting itself were Gerry's riding companions. They gave us initially some accounts, but very shortly after, probably within half an hour or so, they then refused to speak to us.
As word of the execution spread, from the angels came a wall of silence. This secrecy would complicate the task of identifying the body. The police needed a name, but no one would come forward.
It's the only case I think I've ever been involved in where I have confirmed publicly to the media the identity of a murder victim without having had a formal identification. That's because I was satisfied that we had identified him by other means, and I was clearly satisfied and convinced of his identity.
Gerry Tobin was identified by his belongings. His wallet and personal effects gave the police his name.
A key part for me is to establish a motive, and that need, to assist with that, you need to understand Gerry and Gerry's life and whether he had enemies, etc.
Real Crimes has uncovered unseen archive footage of Gerry from the Bulldog Bash in 2006. This gives us the briefest of snapshots of Gerry's secretive life in the Angels. Even his mother was totally unaware that he was a member. What information we do know is provided by an undercover officer who has investigated this organisation and other motorcycle clubs.
Everything I know about Gerard Tobin tells me that he was a decent guy, that he loved motorbikes, and to that end he was a very proficient and skilled mechanic. And I'm sure that part of the reason he was taken up and become a member of the Hells Angels was that skill that he brought to them of being able to work on motorcycles and work on the club motorcycles.
When murdered, Tobin had been riding home after one of the biggest events in the Hells Angels calendar, the Bulldog Bash. A 3-day jamboree held near Stratford-upon-Avon with burnouts, drag racing and rock music. It is a meet that attracts thousands of bike enthusiasts. It is also an unmissable event for Hells Angels, the one time in the year where members of this secretive organisation all come together in one place. Canadian author and journalist Julian Scher has written extensively about clubs such as the Hells Angels and other motorcycle organisations, mainly in the USA and Canada. He expresses his views on their activities.
On the one hand, they have a brand that tends to symbolize we're just lovable rascals, we're rebels, that Hollywood easy rider type of look, where it's sort of have fun, you're riding on the Harley, you're anti-establishment. They organize charity runs. I mean, for goodness sake, the Hells Angels rode in the Queen's Jubilee in 2002. And that gives them an entree. That gives them an air of legitimacy and danger. And yet, the other part of their message with the death head, with the patch, is we are the Hells Angels.